Greetings, Royals, and welcome to Sovereign Sunday. If you're new here, I'm Queen Tasha, and Sovereign Sunday is a space I dedicate to sharing empowerment lessons, intuitive guidance, and helping you remember who you truly are. Each series, we explore grounded wisdom, energetic truth, and embodiment practices, an intuitive insight designed to help you rise into your sovereign self, the version of you that leads with clarity, trust, and inner power. Over this Power of Gratitude series, we've explored gratitude as the throne to receiving, as grounding during hard times, and how it connects to worthiness. And today we're closing the series by talking about gratitude as a magnet. Not because gratitude makes you good, but because it changes how available you are to receive. This is grounded wisdom, real life integration, and a practical way to stop chasing what's already meant for you. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. So, take a breath, settle into your body, and let's get into it.
Crowned up, tuned in, yeah, she back on the scene. A lightning magnet, call her energy supreme. Stepping in her purpose with a glow so serene. This the crown awakening, the return of the queen. This the crown awakening, the return of the queen.
All right, let's get into it. So first, let's clear something up. Gratitude is not about being polite to the universe. It's about becoming magnetic to it. So this episode is about how gratitude doesn't work because the universe is keeping score. It works because it changes how available you are to receive. So today we're going to be talking about why effort blocks abundance, how gratitude creates ease, and how to stop chasing what's already looking for you. So, the core message is gratitude expands your magnetic field because it removes urgency. You don't need to want louder, you need to resist less. So, abundance responds to regulation, not desperation. And what I mean by that is expecting and not being in desperation to get something, knowing that it's already going to come because you know that it's already yours. But also, hustle is a word that I have had in my vocabulary that I'm wanting to reframe and or take out of my vocabulary as something when I describe, how I make money, and I say I'm a hustler. It's not good if I'm a meme, but what I mean by that is truly that I'm just always taken care of because I'm creative and resourceful, and I trust that everything is gonna work out like it always does, and I trust that it will, and it will do so in divine timing when it needs to. And the more that I stay aligned with that trust, the more available and ease of that coming toward me quicker. Because when I am having any type of resistance, it's because I'm like worried about where it's coming from or anything like that. And that slows or blocks, delays or blocks your progress of the the cycle returning or the flow returning back in. But hustle says I don't have enough. That's what it says energetically, is that, I don't have enough. So I'm like hustling to get everything together, instead of gratitude says I'm supported even while I'm expanding, even while I'm waiting, I'm supported. And so when you use gratitude to remind yourself of those things, like I'm supported, so don't worry about it. you're talking to your nervous system to be at ease. Gratitude isn't pretending that everything is perfect, and we talked about this in episode 2 about hard times. It's about honest gratitude. It's not about positivity bombing situations. But it's refusing to live like you're behind. So honoring the present moment, honoring where you are now, and being grateful for how you've gotten to where you are, because you've already made transformations to get to who you are now, and you're constantly transforming from the lessons you learn on a regular basis. If you are in a growth mode, if you're in an expansion mode where you are self-aware of these lessons coming in and you take the time to learn from them. Abundance responds to ease, not exhaustion. And this is a lesson that I'm constantly practicing. Because if everything in your life requires force, pressure, or proving, your nervous system is in survival, not receiving. So if you are putting like a specific timeline on things versus just saying it's coming now, it's coming now, it's coming now, then versus like, oh man, I need this to show up by the first, like I don't like, and then you start doing all these different things to try to make it happen in a sense of like not trusting that something is coming. It's not bad to be creative and resourceful and to remind yourself of all of the things that you have access to if trusting yourself doesn't work out in your favor, or it doesn't show up on time, that you have other options, and being grateful for that, because that allows your nervous system to be at ease. Gratitude shifts your nervous system out of I need into I have room to receive more. Hard work energy repels, and that's going back to the I need to do this, I need to sell that, I need to work on this, I need to set up this, and like, again, not to say that actions are not needed when you are in manifestation mode, but releasing the grip of tension of like, I need to do all of this in order to survive. It needs to be done because those things need to be done. When you're prepared for opportunities to come, opportunities will show up. But like the hard work energy of like, oh, okay, I gotta do all this because I need to get this, and this is what I'm gonna need to like make money and like, you don't want to have that energy. Hard work energy repels or resists what's coming in. Grounded energy attracts. Everything that I need is making its way to me. That's the energy that you want to have. A grounded energy in trusting, and that requires patience and resilience in knowing that. And the way that you do that is reminding yourself that this has happened before. You know, visualize or remind yourself of a memory that you have of like things working out when you were like, oh, it's not going to work out, or it's going to come too late, or whatever, and then it was better than you expected. Like when you remind yourself that it's already happened, it creates a frequency inside of you that allows your nervous system to calm down and feel safe. And also it's calling to the universe that you need more of that, or you want more of that. You're ready to receive more of that. And when you're frantic, you're trying to figure out everything. And that, like I said, that energy is not what is going to call in what you want. When you slow that, when you calm that and you trust in, you're telling the universe that you're ready to receive. When you're calm in it, when you're not really thinking about it, you know that it's like you're aware of it, but you're not worried about the outcome, worried about how it's going to be taken care of. You just know that it's going to be taken care of, and those things will show up when you need. And when you trust in that, you continuously practice to trust in that, and you show gratitude toward that, it shifts so much in your body, in your nervous system, and your magnetism toward manifesting. Like, it becomes so much easier. It becomes so much faster when you're not in the survival mode energy. Gratitude isn't about settling for less. I want to continuously remind you of that. Like, you want to be grateful for what you have, but you're not grateful for settling for less. If what you have is not what you want, you still need to be grateful that once upon a time you didn't have that. It was something you wanted and you didn't have it. Or it's necessary for you to have. Like, maybe you have furniture in your apartment and a bed to sleep on. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's not something you had or have had in the past, and being grateful for that. But maybe you wanted to be in a better apartment, or you wanted to be nicer furniture. But like, being grateful for you manifested this once before. And you've got to be grateful for what you've received in order to call in receiving more. It's about recognizing what's already working so your system expects more of that. What you acknowledge grows. And you don't attract what you want, you attract what you're available for. And so this adds on to last week's lesson of you don't attract what you desire, you attract you don't attract what you deserve, you attract what you feel you're worthy of. And gratitude tells life, I notice support, I notice flow, and I notice opportunities. And then more will show up. So you're using your language in recognizing things that come up in your thoughts, negative thoughts. I love combating my negative thoughts that come up with gratitude right away. Because this is not from me. This is coming from fear. Oh, don't touch the mic. This is coming from fear. This is coming from past experiences that are still rooted inside me, usually from my inner child, who I am still continuously healing, which I'll do a whole different series about inner child healing. But I remind myself that again and again and again and again and again and again and again, I am always taken care of. And I am grateful that things are always working out for me. Even when they don't look like they're working out for me, things are always working out for me when I don't see it. Like, it's coming toward me and I don't see it. I don't see the actions. I don't see the outcome. But it's coming toward me and I have to trust. And I trust in that. And I had to say that over and over again to trust in that. And now I truly believe it. Like, it shows up all the time. And the more and more I stay in that alignment and not allow fear to cause resistance, the more magnetized I am to the opportunities and things that need to be fulfilled in order for me to have what I desire. And so what I want you to take from this and all of, the power of gratitude is that you don't have to be disciplined to be abundant. You don't have to work hard to receive. You have to be more present in what abundance is, and you have to be more self-aware about your energy and what already has transpired in your life that has gotten you to the level that you're at. I always correlate life to the old Sega Sonic game. It's the only one I really remember playing outside of Nintendo. A couple games on Nintendo that were interactive, but Sega, I didn't really play video games, but when I did, I tried to play Sonic the Hedgehog, and it had really great music at the time, background music. But each stage you have to go through different lessons to figure out how to get to the end of the level. And then at that end of the level, you have this really hard thing that happens. And it's usually a monster you have to fight, a mountain. You have something really hard you have to jump over or something crazy. And then you have to fight a monster at the end of every level. And I feel like that's showed up in every level up I've had in life, where I'm just oh, okay, everything's looking good, and looking good. And you're just oh, what? What happened? I thought I was doing good. And I was oh, okay, this is the monster at the end of the level of leveling up so you can get to the next level. And usually that's what happens. It's usually, you got to conquer that monster. You got to conquer that shadow. You got to, move through that. And then you get to the next level. And you just continuously level up. There's no winning you are winning the game if you're leveling up, but there's no end of the game. You just constantly level up. But I digress. Let me get back to to my notes. So gratitude works because you slow down enough to notice all of your resources. And this just goes back to what I was just saying. When you are aware of the things that you've already attracted, and you sit and be oh, okay, I didn't used to have that, and I really wanted that, and it exists now. I think about that all the time. Right now, I'm still resonating in the fact that I am in Mexico. Because all the fears want to tell me girl, girl. But I trust in my decision, and I trust in all of the things that opened up in order for me to not only be here, but to stay here so far. And I am grateful. Like, I am so grateful that the work and the things that I have had to manage and move through to get to this phase in life, and what I'm seeing transpire and unfold right now as I move to the next phase is exciting as well. And I just know all of this is due to gratitude of the present moment, and gratitude of knowing that all of this came from me being self-aware, and gratitude of what I already have. And gratitude also signals safety to your body. And like, that has been such an important lesson. It's like, it triggers so much when you do that. Like, your breathing resets. I've been a victim of panic attacks. I say victim because, like, I don't like to claim like, oh, I'm depressed or I'm not. Like, I experienced depression, and I've been a victim to not being and not knowing how to cope and manage with this human experience that's happening. But I've been a victim of panic attacks and all that comes with that. Like, where it just suddenly comes out of nowhere. Your breathing goes into hyperventilation mode. You're not in control of your breathing. And, you know, through a lot of breathwork training, which I just recently got back into, and reminding myself of my safe things that are putting me in this situation, but also that is allowing me to move up to the next one. It builds trust within yourself and in your life when you practice gratitude in all of these different areas. And I don't always like to, you know, I have mentioned, you know, a few things that I say, but it really is just, you know, you can level up. Like, where I'm at in my gratitude practice is kind of on an automation mode. Like, but it did take some practice, like doing gratitude journals and journaling about these things and scripting. And that's why I provide these different techniques for you to embody these things. But, you know, when you get to that, I guess, autopilot, and you're self-aware of that autopilot, like when it kicks in and you're just like, oh, okay. This came up as soon as that came up, and then it went away because of all of these things. And then my breathing kicks in on its own too from practicing breath work. Like, when my body wants to, or when there's a situation where my body is experiencing something unfamiliar that might be scary or whatever, my breathing automatically goes into deep breath mode so that I don't panic. But that comes, like I said, from practice. And when I'm not practicing, I have had some very dark moments where, because I wasn't practicing, those panic attacks, you know, came back from fear. But yeah, so some actionable micro rituals or things that you can incorporate in your daily life is to say thank you before results show up. This is a lesson that I'm reminded constantly by the spirit of my aunt, one of my aunts who passed, that I didn't get to know that well, but her energy is around me in so many ways, because I wear her jewelry, and I have a few of her crystals and items and things like that. So, but I remember there was a lesson she was trying to teach us, but it was without context and we had no understanding of it. But it was to say thank you before you receive. And something that you asked for, basically, say thank you for receiving it before it shows up. This is going to create that magnetism. For example, I'm so grateful that I am living in Mexico. I used to do this all the time. Now it sounds delusional, right? Especially if you're not in Mexico yet. I just used to look, I'd be in my RV and I would look out, into the horizon sometimes, or when the sun was setting, and I'm like, or I'd walk around my neighborhood, the RV park that I was at, and I'd be like, man, this is such a cool, I'm so grateful that I'm in Mexico and that it's a nice little dog park. Like I was experiencing it like it was already present. And it's because I was like so close and I was like, I'm ready to go. Things were starting to feel like it was going to fall apart or they weren't coming together the way that I was hoping. And, and I was just like, I'm still going. And so I just constantly, I started doing a lot of visualization meditations of me in my apartment in Mexico and where, I lived, and me driving down here and being safe and all of these different things prior to getting here. And that's why the visualization techniques, they work the best for me. I mean, everybody is different. But I highly recommend visualization embodiment techniques. Another thing that you can do in your daily life as little micro rituals is to pause after wins instead of immediately moving to the next goal. This is something I have to constantly remind myself of, is to celebrate my small wins. So like each thing that needed to get done in order for the next thing to get done, in order for the next thing to get done, in order for me to get what I want, I just be moving on to the next thing. I'm just like, and sometimes those levels are hard, and I a lot of times forget to remind myself, like, you did that, girl, like you did that, high five, like you did that. And take a moment to like really resonate in that. Like, I'm getting there, like I'm moving, things are opening up, and being grateful, like things are opening up for me to continuously be excited about this, which I know that's creating the momentum that's needed to attract what I need to have or express what I'm trying to express or whatever it is. Like that, small celebration wins is really important. And then also, let ease be evidence that you are magnetizing. Not laziness, but ease. Like, what you're doing doesn't feel like hard work and forced pressure to do all of this stuff. But things are now opening up for you. You get an email from there. You get some news from there. You get a couple extra dollars in your account you wasn't expecting. These little evidences and triggers. I love numerology or seeing angel numbers. as evidence that me not having to worry about it, things are showing up. All right, let's get into this embodiment practice. So what we're going to be doing is shifting from effort to allowance, so that you're not thinking of you're manifesting more. It's that you're receiving, or you're removing resistance to what's already in motion. So if you can, sit back in your chair, uncross your legs and your arms. Place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. And if you can, close your eyes or lower your gaze down. And we're going to go through 3 cycles of breath, inhaling for a count of 4 through your nose and exhaling for a count of 6 out of your mouth. The longer you exhale, you're telling your body, your nervous system, that you are safe and you're not trying to survive. So, breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last time, breathe in. And breathe out. And if you need to glance at the screen to read the phrase that I have up there, you can, but please repeat to yourself or in your head, silently, to yourself or in your head, 3 times. Nothing I desire is being withheld from me. It's responding to my readiness. Nothing I desire is being withheld from me. It's responding to my readiness. Nothing I desire is being withheld from me. It's responding to my readiness. Pause and resonate with that phrase for a moment. And now we're going to reframe that with, I don't need to force the timeline. I need to stay available. I don't need to force the timeline. I need to stay available. I don't need to force the timeline. I need to stay available. Now open your palms into receiving mode, having them facing up toward the sky, and rest them gently on your thighs. And I want you to say 3 times to yourself or out loud, if it's meant for me, it can find me. If it's meant for me, it can find me. If it's meant for me, it can find me. And settle in that. Take one more deep breath. Or bring your hands to prayer mode. And set that in. Ashe. All right, now that we are recalibrated, reset in our nervous system, we're going to get into our one card pull from our Oracle deck. I am going to be reading again from The Secret Language of Animals to wrap up the series. I believe I did all 4 with this. Can't remember week 1 at the moment. But the intention statement that I'm going to use for this card pull, and I want you to think about as I am shuffling, what form of abundance is already moving toward me that I haven't fully acknowledged yet? What form of abundance is already moving toward me that I haven't fully acknowledged yet, with gratitude? For me, it would be all the people. I'm grateful for all the people or the abundance of all the people that I am going to be able to serve through the power of my purpose. And that will then return to me in the things that will allow me to continue to provide that without having to be in the matrix. And I am excited and grateful for that day when I get to celebrate no longer having to resource money from the matrix, that I am being fully in my purpose, and that circulation of energy is allowing me to live the life that I've always dreamed. I'll show you. Oh, I definitely want to be thankful for that day, that phase for me, and the abundance of all the people that I'm going to be able to serve and help rise into their sovereign self. I am grateful for that. All right. So we're going to do a spread pull as we done. Oops, don't touch the mic. What do we got here? What do we got? What do we got? We got a lot. We got a lot. We got a little something. This one I'm looking directly at, so we're going to take that one out. What do we got? The white rhinoceros. I get so excited when I just read the first couple words, and I'm just like, this is so aligned. It's so magical. So magical. This power that I have. But we have the white rhinoceros. The words on the card are stability, confidence, steadiness, and abundance. And the number is 15. White rhinoceros. Yes. Come through. I think I've read this one a couple times before. Let's see what we got. White rhinoceros. Red dusty plains, shrubs and desert trees. Dry air, warm earth, warm, steady breath. Gray lashes blink slowly over dark eyes, reflecting strength and confidence. Second largest land mammal next to elephant. Rhino's armor. Rhino's armored presence and 5-foot horns give him an air of aggression. But in truth, he is a passive, peaceful grazer. roaming open spaces in the quiet of his own company. White rhino are the calmest and most sociable of all living species of rhinoceros. Living in small groups, they communicate with wide variety of grunts, growls, snorts, squeals, squeaks, and bellows. They have highly sensitive hearing, a keen sense of smell, and an ability to run 30 miles per hour, which is 50 kilometers per hour. With great agility, but much prefer wandering the savannah in quiet seclusion and wallowing in cool mud baths to protect their sensitive skin from sunburn and insect bites. As a vision of confidence, steadiness, and grounded abundance, Rhino appears to be happy to spend most of his days alone and yet share a unique symbolic relationship with oxpeckers, who feed themselves on ticks from the rhino's body and return the favor by screeching out whenever danger is near. The message. When Rhino enters your world, he comes with a message to breathe deep into your center and quietly remember who you are. A deeply magnificent being, way more powerful than you may realize. Take time to stand in the sun and plant your feet in the soil. Feel your connection to all things. Allow your outer protective layer to relax, knowing they will be there to protect you if you need them. But now is the time to trust your strength, to be yourself, and stand with quiet confidence in the world. Rhino's gift is to remind you that while life sometimes calls for moments of decisive and powerful action, our greatest strength is often found in the presence that we exclude simply by owning our gifts and knowing who we are. The key to avoiding power struggles with others is to first come to peace with the power residing deep within. Spend time in contemplative solitude. Find comfort and sanctity in your own company. Worry not about ascending to the high plains. Now is the time to draw upon the grounded energy and abundance of the earth, to nurture yourself with the simple pleasures of life and the elements of earth, sun, and water. Find your version of Rhino's mud bath and give yourself the gift of full replenishment. When you merge back into the world, seek first to spend time with those who honor you most and celebrate your unique contribution. Communicate your needs to your closest allies and be conscious about respecting the often unspoken needs of others. Be open to unexpected partnerships with those whose gifts complement your own. When creative relationships flow, each bring a special part to the world, and all are made stronger as a result. And the affirmation is, I am here to express myself powerfully in the world. I honor my gifts and the gifts of others. I stand strong and move with quiet confidence. My greatest power is the natural expression of who I am. Ashe. Yes, yes, yes. What was coming through right away was, girl, you need a beach day. And I agree. I have not had a beach day since coming down here, like traveling down here. And when I say beach day, I've been to the beach. I've walked on the beach, walked up and down the beach. I've tried to do that as regularly as I can. What I mean is popping up a little setup. I love a good beach setup. I have all the things to have a great beach setup. Pop-up tents, the things you put in the sand, the blanket, all the things, right? To have a nice, beautiful, semi-bougie, budget luxury outdoor experience at the beach. And then also, I have not had a beach float or water float in a long time where I just get into the water, lay, and just let Yemenya just surround me. And that's like one of my favorite things to do. When the water is tropically, generally, when I can see the bottom. I usually don't really like doing it when I can't see in the water, but that's what that was calling for when I first was reading Find Your Version of Rhino's Mud Bath and Give Yourself the Gift of Full Replenishment. That is what replenishes me for sure. And then when it says when you merge back into the world, it also brought up be open to unexpected partnerships whose gifts complement your own. And like that was just like confirmation for me, because right now I am in the process of like co-creating my first like setup of like co-living, where it's not just like roommates, but it's like intentional co-living with the intention of like building soul family, and then possibly moving on to larger projects together, and also collaborating creatively within this experiment. So it's just like that was like confirmation for me that the people that I'm aligning with right now are in that resonating frequency that I'm moving toward to manifest the next days of my life. And it's brick by brick, and I am putting that action toward that, and I am attracting those things to open up that portal to the larger picture. And I'm excited about that. And I know that even more better news and, the outcomes of all of these things are going to be important experiences for me. And I'm very excited and I'm very grateful for that. So I love confirmation, through these messages as well. And my greatest power is the natural expression of who I am. And when I am clear with my communication about that, when I am fully being my authentic self, people resonate with that. And a lot of times I don't even have to say anything. So a lot of times it's just the way that I live sometimes, and people just resonate with that. And so I'm grateful for that. Yes. So that is our card reading to wrap up our gratitude series. The White Rhino, again, stability, confidence, steadiness, and abundance. Yes, in all ways, in all things, always. So I want to leave you with your affirmation statement that you can write down on a little sticky and put up, and remind yourself of this as well as maybe an intro to figuring out what you are grateful for, and just continuing to practice. I like to offer some guidance in that. So the affirmation statement, and I'll put it on the screen. I am grateful that my life is expanding in ways both seen and unseen. Again, I am grateful that my life is expanding in ways both seen and unseen. I like to say things 3 times just to set it in. I am grateful that my life is expanding in ways both seen and unseen. Ashe. And journal prompts for those who are following along and actually, embodying this and learning and growing and healing. If you're a journaler, here's a journal prompt for you that I will also put up on the screen here. If abundance was responding to my gratitude today, what would it send me next? This is another good scripting prompt to call in what you want by visualizing or actualizing it as you already have it. So if abundance was responding to my gratitude today, basically what you're grateful for today, what would it send me next? Like, what would you be attracting? What would you be magnetizing towards yourself if you were grateful for it today? And just to close, if you've been following the Power of Gratitude series here on Sovereign Sunday from the beginning, and even if you haven't, please go back and watch. But here's what I want you to hear: that gratitude isn't a personality trait. It's not positive. It's not positivity bombing. It's not positive gaslighting yourself. It does involve a little delusion sometimes, but it's honest. If you are doing it right, it is honest with yourself and what you expect and what you are confirming with the universe. It's a position that you take in your seat of being a queen at your throne, that in our first lesson, it was really to enforce that you are enough and deserving and already prepared as a queen, as a woman, as a divine feminine to receive. We should not have to earn our seat. It was given to us. Literally, we are the receivers in procreation. We are the receiver in so many aspects of life that allow us to then multiply that and recirculate that back out into the universe. Also, using gratitude in hard seasons. This goes back to not positive bombing yourself, not positive gaslighting yourself. Using honest gratitude about the situation to calm your nervous system and anchor yourself in what you've accomplished, what is already present in the present moment, and ground yourself in safety. And then gratitude as a bridge to worthiness, using gratitude to remind yourself of your worth. It's a bridge to worthiness in not accepting less, not thinking of gratitude as accepting less or accepting crumbs in a sense, but that it is something that you deserve. And lastly, gratitude increases your magnetism to what you are trying to attract, what you are desiring, what is the next level of your human experience. So, like I said, this isn't about being positive all the time. It's about being available. You have to align and be in the frequency of gratitude to be able to align what you want and be available for what you desire. And it goes back to that saying, you don't chase, you attract. What's meant for you will come, and that is centered in the power of gratitude. So I hope you received that. As we close today's Sovereign Sunday and complete this gratitude series, remember this: your power has never come from doing more. It comes from trusting yourself enough to stop forcing. Gratitude is not a performance. It's a signal of safety, a declaration of worth, and a reminder that what's meant for you doesn't need to be chased. Let this series integrate slowly. Return to this episode when you need grounding, confirmation, or permission to rest inside what's becoming. If this space has supported you, comment gratitude and share it with someone who's learning how to receive from gratitude. Until next time, stay royal, stay rising, and always live fearlessly free.